Hello, everyone. This is John Browning with the Building Your Life podcast. Once again, Michael DeLon. We have got a substitute, and I'm very excited. This morning we have James Elliot. James, you are a communications, leadership, trust trainer, speaker. You're a best-selling author. Let's see, the name of your book, which I really like, is Unleash Your Power, not to be confused with Unleash the Power Within.
Right on.
And I think you even have the URL, am I right? I
have unleashyourpower.com. Apparently Tony didn't want or didn't need it. So yes, I am unleashyourpower.com or James at unleashyourpower.com. So I have that and I hold that one tight.
Awesome. And that's the best way to get in touch with you would be through that website, right?
Yeah, through the website, unleashyourpower.com, or again, James at unleashyourpower.com. Yeah.
All right. Very good. And folks know how to get in touch with me. Just text the word LIFE, L-I-F-E, to 21,000, or go out to guardianrockwealth.com and hit the contact us page. And there's all sorts of free resources there if you want to just learn without talking to me, but I'm free to talk to. And James, are you free to talk to?
I am as well. I love talking to my people. I love serving, and I love that you're available too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's right. All right. So I am curious. The folks that regularly listen to this podcast know that I wrote the Amazon bestselling book, Build a Life, Not a Portfolio. And that's what this is really all about. And real quick housekeeping issue. None of this is investment advice. This is just two people talking to each other. Hopefully you get some great and valuable information. But when I wrote that book, the very first chapter in that, James, was what does money mean to you?
Oh, yes, it's a good one.
and that's really that's the first chapter, because that's what the book is really all about. And it's kind of a weird thing for a investment advisor to talk about that first, but I think it's the core and the base of everything that we do as far as planning on top of that. So I know you talk about some of the same things in your book.
And it's the thing, it's there's that saying, what you chase will run. So if you're just in it for the money or just chasing money, it's going to run. Versus I believe in making a difference, impacting, being of service to others, no matter who you are, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business leader, a corporate employee, whoever you are. It's be of help, be of service. I love the thing about taking responsibility, and there's no, life's not fair. There's no fault to avoid. Oh, it's not my fault. Just take responsibility for what you want in your life, and then you'll get it. It'll actually happen. So I'm on the exact same wavelength as you. And I love your Build a Life, Not a Portfolio. It's so true. It's so true. I mean, a lot of people wait to the end of their lives to be able to enjoy their money. And I don't know if this statistic is completely accurate these days, but it used to be on average, people would die 3 years after their retirement, at least from trades jobs and blue collar jobs, and years ago in white collar stuff. So it's a shame. I believe in living life to the fullest, and also, yes, saving for tomorrow, but also you may want to hike that mountain in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, not in your 70s. So, do things now as well that'll light you up and help you find purpose and meaning as well.
And it's really all about being purposeful.
Yeah.
And planning what's your best life. But first, I find that many of us maybe don't even really ask the question. And if we do ask the question, what does money mean to me, or what are my real values? What really brings me joy right now? We tend not to take the time, and I was the same way. I was working on Wall Street, and I was frankly on that hamster wheel. I got up in the morning, I went to work, I went to the airport, I flew somewhere, I spoke, I managed portfolios, and I came home, rested, got some sleep, and got up and did it again.
Dinner, watching TV, maybe go to the gym, and exactly, rinse and repeat every day. Exactly.
And the why question never really occurred to me. And then when it did start to occur, I started asking myself that question. Instead of asking somebody like yourself, independent, third party, you don't know necessarily who's on the other end of this podcast.
Sure.
And you don't have any vested interest, because so many times we ask our brother, our sister, our mother, our cousin, our best friend, and I always say this. I said, don't let a blind person proofread your vision.
It's so true. They're too close to you, and they've been programmed with the same programming your parents, grandparents, religion, culture, society, news have programmed them with. So yeah, right. It's not going to be a ideal, I will say, piece of advice, or neutral, or biasless piece of advice. When finding your why or your purpose. I agree, because we're all told what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and can or can't do, and a good boy does this, and a good girl doesn't do that, and all this stuff and nonsense, and we should and shouldn't, and end up shitting all over ourselves. And that's one of my mentors says. But you're right though, and it's talk to someone, talk to a mentor, a coach, a leader, someone else that is a bit removed from you. I think that is a really good piece of advice, and finding that why, that purpose, that passion, that fulfillment, and connecting that with what you do at work. It'll light you up. It'll have you on fire at work. It'll have you unstoppable. I was getting up earlier and earlier in the morning because I was on fire, on purpose. I'd wake up, perfect. I know what I need to do. I know my mission today. Boom, and I go for it, versus sleeping in, or I don't want to get up, and I'm motivated, I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like a day and night difference when you're motivated, whether it's your own business, a side business, your leadership business, your corporate career, whatever it is. Knowing your purpose and that passion behind it, and how that translates into your life. Great. You want more money at work or in your business. Cool. What's it going to get you? Is it time with friends and family? Is it more travel? Is it giving back, which is hugely rewarding? Giving back money, giving back time. Is it, I don't know, paying someone to clean your house so you don't have to do it yourself, and you can spend more time helping people or mentoring people if that's your passion, or traveling or gardening or whatever. But I think you're right. It's what is that? I want more money. Great. We all want more money. But why? What'll it allow you to do? I mean, is it rolling around in a bathtub or a swimming pool with a bunch of cash? Probably not. Probably not. Like, what is that money for? And what will it light you up with? So that connecting that to that is great, because money is just such a broad topic. And again, we have good and negative connotations about money, some good, some bad, some mixed and otherwise. And money is this, money's that. But connecting your work and what you're doing with a bigger purpose and a bigger why, and intrinsically to you, will that ever motivate you to be on fire in your work?
Yeah, and I just a lot of this also involves planning,
Mhm.
and where you're starting from, and then where we're talking about where you want to go, but you also, like, where are you starting now, and sort of the reality check of where we are.
Mhm.
And another thing that I find that people talk about market risk and this kind of risk, that kind of risk, longevity risk, whatever the risk is. But what we don't hear a lot about is what I think is one of the worst risks of all, and that is procrastination risk. What do you think about that?
I agree. Life, life flies by. We can always make more money. We can always, create more energy. We can do more stuff, but we can't create more time. That's the only thing. So yeah, I'm a big do it now kind of guy. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today, versus waiting and procrastinating. And a lot of it is just unknown, or fear of the unknown, that causes us to, we don't think, well, it's a good idea, I should procrastinate, or I think I'll put this off because I don't want the money or passion or fulfillment or my own business or leadership or promotions. I think it's the fear of the unknown and the discomfort with change, which is, I mean, it's human nature to run from what makes us uncomfortable. And we need to very consciously and go against the grain and run towards what makes us uncomfortable. And that's when we win and grow.
Yeah, I would agree. And so many times I think we fear,
Yeah.
right? It's just a fear, or it's going to take too much time. I don't have time. Well, do you have time not to?
Exactly. Or can you afford not to? Exactly.
Mhm.
Do you have time not to? And I 90% of the time I put something off, and then I go do it, and I'm like, oh my God, that was so fast, or that, like, it literally took me a few minutes, or it took me an hour. Like that, I should have done that weeks or months or years ago. It was so easy, so fast. When I actually sat down to do it and plan and focus, I'm like, why did I not do this a lifetime ago?
Right. And worrying about, oh, if I do that, then this might happen, but will it? you don't know if you're, that's just
You don't
all the
exactly.
time we spend worrying and all of that, right?
It is. I saw an interesting statistic recently, and it was that 85 to 90% of all the crap we worry and fear and obsess and stew about never actually comes true, never actually happens. And so it's like, well, then if most of it never happens, why would you even want the stuff that does happen to happen twice? Once when you're worrying about it in your mind, and once when it actually happens, especially if only 10 to 15% of it actually ever happens.
That's a great way to look at it. That's actually true. And I think we probably spend a lot more time on our headspace, on our
Sure.
worry space, and just making ourselves miserable about it for sometimes years, right?
Well, exactly. And it's disempowering. How if you're worried and fearful and in a bad place, how can you do great things? Like a lot of mentors, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, and a lot of people say your success, a lot of your success will be determined by your emotional state management, the ability to manage yourself. And you feel like crap, but you do it anyways, or you feel like crap, but you get yourself quickly in a position where you are on and you can, pitch that person or that client or ask for a raise, a promotion, or give that presentation or go on that date or whatever it is. You can be on quickly and be at your best quickly and shift your emotional state. You're going to win. You're going to achieve great things versus if you're going to do that in a crappy state, well, your results are going to be crappy too.
Right. I actually have another chapter in the book. It's called the Snowflake Theory, and it's all about how we're all different and we all come
Mhm.
from different perspectives because we've all experienced life differently.
Yeah.
And when I relate it back to what I do as my main thing, which is investing, portfolio management, and all of that, that whole idea becomes, many people in my field say that you should take all the emotions out of investing. And that's the best way to invest. The problem is we have 7 billion people on this round thing we call Earth that are all making emotional decisions, right?
You got it.
And what is that right thing for you? Well, it's not necessarily logical. We have to stop this whole idea, I think, of thinking that we should be or we need to be 100% logical because God made us emotional beings.
Very true.
It's
Very
just
true.
a fact.
And
Yeah.
people can argue, but they can argue all they want, but we make decisions emotionally. We justify a lot, all the way up to the highest, corporate boardroom and board of directors. We make decisions emotionally. It's a scientific fact, and we justify logically. So, I fully support what your thoughts are, and your point is, it's impossible to take that out. It's impossible to take biases out. We are humans. We're humans as well. So,
And it's okay to be human.
yeah, agreed.
As a matter of fact, I would say, as we kind of to circle back to what we were talking about just a minute ago, is your emotions are powerful if you use them and pay attention to your state, manage your state. And there are ways to do that I'm sure you could talk about. And then think how powerful you would be, right? Or what is that power within, right?
You exactly, precisely. And how powerful you can be. Yeah, manage your mindset, manage that the mental monkey and the gremlin that are chattering at you. Manage your emotional state, and it's very quick and very easy. It's nothing complex or convoluted. This is why I love teaching it, because it's way far simpler, way easier to do and to master than people think. And people that are in the know and that know this, you very quickly rise to the ranks of the elite and become powerful and unstoppable. And that way you get what you want in your life, whether it's the initial thing is the business success or work success, and the money and the recognition. But then the real thing you want, what it leads to is, fulfillment, is life, is, I don't know, spending time with family and friends, or traveling, or investing, or giving back, or leaving some sort of legacy. And it's like, how can I stand out? I mean, you even said Snowflake Theory. I love that you included that in your book, because it's so true. And I feel, because this happened to me, I was so afraid of being different and standing out. And after years of tormenting and things in school, years of being different and being afraid of being different, or afraid of failing, or afraid of what will people think of me. And it's ironic, because the people we revere, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Oprah, Ariana Huffington, Marianne Williamson, they're all different. They're all black sheep. They all went against the grain, and Einstein, they're all different. And it's that's who we revere and who we look up to. Yet everyone's trying to be the damn same, and not be a snowflake and just be a clone, which is a shame, because that's not authentic, and that you don't attract people to you, whether for personal or business or otherwise. You don't attract people with lack of authenticity, or just by being the same and negating all the gifts we were given and all our amazing traits, however unique we are, even if a few people don't like us or don't resonate with us. It's interesting how we revere these people that are different, yet we're trying to be the exact same, buy the same stuff, say the same words, act the same, be the same as everyone else, and it's ironic.
It is a bit ironic. And the other thing that we tend to think about these people that we revere and we say, wow, they're amazing, is we tend to think that they were successful overnight. And I think I'm trying to remember who said it first. I'll get it wrong, but I think it might have been John Maxwell that said it's those overnight successes are preceded by years and years of unspectacular practice and work and frankly failure. And I get that a lot too, right? I get the I'm so ashamed I failed. Guess what? Irregardless of what it says about everybody on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever social media you're on, or in the mainstream news, we've all failed, and sometimes spectacularly. I'm raising my hand here. And it doesn't mean that you cannot start over. And just because you're 50 or even 60, or you name the age, it doesn't mean that you can't recover. That whole can't, never, could do anything. I tell my kids that all the time.
Well, look at Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken. What was he, 80? He was 70, 80. He was in the 80s when he started KFC. And there's hundreds of examples like that too. But you're right. And people are so afraid of failing and getting it wrong, or being someone else being right, or being told they were wrong, or whatever, or people laughing or whatever. It's ironic though, because that's some of our best lessons, or some of our biggest failures and blowups. I mean, I remember some of the things I've learned and stand by my principles today. It's some of the biggest blowups and screw ups, and that's okay. Biggest failures. And I don't believe in failure anyways. I believe in growth and feedback and learning. That's what life is about. Humans aren't perfect. It's impossible. So I agree. I think we should embrace, I'll say, growth and learning, AKA failure, because otherwise, if we're afraid of it, we're never going to take action. We're never going to get there. We're never going to do things we need to do to make more money, to be better, to invest more, to have the money work for them, which is where you specialize. So they can have that work life, I call it harmony, because I don't quite believe in balance. Sometimes I'm working 2 weeks straight without a day off, and then I can go on a 2, 3, 4 week vacation, or I can work from the cottage all summer, or work from Spain for a month or two, or Costa Rica in the winter. It's the harmony I think we need versus the actual balance. I mean, some days you're going to work longer, or some weeks you're going to work harder. Sometimes you're going to have, Fridays off in the summer, or whatever. It's all about that harmony. And that's why I use that word over work-life balance, because, arguably it may not exist or may not be ideal in a number of cases.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I think we've talked a lot about this idea that, hey, we're all different. We're emotional beings. This whole idea that you can design your life around what you want and what's right for you, not what your brother, mother, sister, or cousin, whoever that might be, says it should be, right? It's what's right for you. Exactly. And I would like to thank you for taking just a couple minutes out of your time to spend some time with us today on the Building Your Life podcast. And as any parting thoughts before we sign off here? And
one of my favorite tools, I'll leave this as a parting thought, is to write down all the things it's going to cost you, what you're not going to have, or what crap that will happen, and what great things you won't have. Like, what's the cost or what's at risk if you don't take action, if you continue to procrastinate. Write a long list, and it does something special to your mind. And that way you can go out there and yes, make money and do better, become more influential. That way you can, and have someone like John, have your money work for you while you're playing. I mean, play, enjoy life, have your money work for you, and always be working on yourself, I guess would be my last thought. I'm living proof that working on yourself, you up and up and up and up and up and up and up in life, whether it's money, friends, relationships, I have more time to focus because I'm more effective now because I've done the work on myself. It's just been amazing to find ways, however you do it, whether it's like with NLP or some things I teach, whether it's with, meditation, whatever it is, spirituality, religion, whatever it is, meditation, you name it, yoga, just find ways to work on yourself. And I promise you that will get you to where you want to be, whether it's more money or freedom because you have more money. Those couple parting thoughts for you, and proof. I'm living proof that those two work on yourself. And again, avoid worrying what someone thinks about you. Do you really care? In 50 years, will you want to look back and be like, well, it's a shame I didn't achieve the things I wanted in my life because I was worried what they thought about me. That would be horrible.
That would be horrible. Yeah. And so many times that's what we see, unfortunately.
Exactly. Fair. That's what happens a lot of times. Yeah. What's the risk?
Right.
What's the cost? A pleasure, John. Thanks for letting me do what I love.
All right. Thank you. And, I think we will, I am sure we are going to talk again. So I appreciate the time today.
My pleasure. Yours as well, sir. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.